On today's show, we have got a huge recap from the weekend. Big teams are winning, big teams are losing. We've got it all for you right here on today's show. We also have our new top 10s that get, I think, a bit contentious, if
Okay.
I don't say so myself. And of course, we have picks. So without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome to the episode of Sitting Courtside. Tuesday is Tuesday, January 30th. We are almost into February, people. And we are, again, full swing college basketball, load of games to get through. So no need to hold up. Let's get to it, Kyle.
All right. Huge weekend of upsets. Of course, we had big upsets. But first, we previewed it last time. We talked about how this was going to be a sneaky spot for Duke to have one of those losses on a Monday night in Virginia Tech. We're recording after the Monday night game, and I'm here to say that they did avoid that loss.
Yes.
They should have actually lost this weekend on Saturday due to some favorable calls at the end. But they now go into North Carolina, all guns ablaze, and won 11 of the last 12 games. So looking forward to that. But I thought it was a good place to start since we did wait until after the game to record.
Yeah, we did. It's fair. Fair call out. I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Kyle.
Yeah.
Duke might be the most underwhelming four-loss team in the country.
that,
They do
that,
nothing to
yeah.
impress me whatsoever.
And tonight, all they did to win a game was just hit a bunch of threes. And that's not even really what Duke does this year. So it was a weird game, but Virginia Tech didn't really bring much to the table.
And you were actively tweeting during the game too.
Mm-hmm.
You I think put out in the atmosphere of this is just a disappointing game, but somehow they're gonna win.
Yep. That's why I was texting my dad. He's like, "This is ugly." I was like, "Well, at least it'll be an ugly win, at least."
Yeah, fair. Question for you though. So Filipowski,
Mm-hmm.
yet again, nothing impressive.
Yeah.
He closed out the first half, the last 14 minutes of the first half. Half. I can't talk without any points.
Yeah.
0 points last 14 minutes of a half, which is basically the whole half. Let's call it what it is. Is he coming back next year?
I don't know. I mean, they still have him as a top 15 pick, and at this point, he's not helping himself anymore right now.
We're in this weird spot where I feel like he's not good enough to go to the NBA at this point. So at best, he's a G leaguer. Is that what we're gonna, or he's gonna be like the ninth guy on the bench?
Yeah, I was about to say it'll be one of those where you hope he gets better in the NBA, and then you never know how that
But
ever works
I
out.
feel like we're in this new age of basketball where he's gonna get paid at Duke. So realize you're not that good. Maybe come back. You still get paid. It's not like the old days where it's like, well, I need to get paid now and my value's high. You go and get your $11 million, and then you turn yourself into who's the guy from Indiana that everyone always loved? I always forget his name. I always want to call him Yogi Ferrell, but that's not his name. The kid from New Albany, played in Indiana, got drafted by the Celtics.
Or I don't know. You're gonna have to give me more than that, and I'm not sure.
Well, I just gave you everything I know about the guy. He went to
played
New
at
Albany.
I don't
He's
know.
the second leading scorer all time in the state behind only Damon Bailey. Literally graduated, let's say, 6 years ago. Played in Indiana for a year.
Is it
Broke
Jordan
his
Hulls?
hand his freshman year and got drafted by the Celtics.
Jordan Hulls is the only thing that can come in my mind.
This is a black kid. Maybe that helps you.
Trace, no,
Not Trace
just
Jackson Davis. He just got drafted to the Warriors.
So I don't know.
This is
Eric Gordon, no, because he only played
man.
1 year at IU. I
Give
don't
me
know.
1 second. Well, this is just terrible show, but at least people can see us. And I know he got drafted to the Celtics because that summer he threw out a game ball at
Thomas
Romeo
Bryant?
Langford.
Romeo Langford.
Okay. He threw out a game ball at the 1A team up in Maine, Portland.
Okay.
Literally, this is all I typed in. Ready? Indiana basketball drafted the Celtics. First thing, Boston Celtics really drafted Langford number 14 overall in the 2019 NBA. That's all it took. Romeo Langford.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that name since he left. So yeah.
Exactly. That's my point. That's what Filipowski is going to do. He's going to go, he'll get drafted 14th, get a big payday, and you'll never hear from him again.
Well, and I don't really think he has an option of coming back because he plays the role of what Cooper Flack's going to play next year, and we all know that he's a better version of
or glass half full, Kyle. We're a pro-positive podcast. Say that 5 times fast. What if they just play on the floor together?
I mean, that would be pretty awesome, but I
I
don't know how you're going to
mean,
convince both of those guys that that's okay. All right, let's move it back to the weekend. Let's talk about some bigger profile games than the Duke game. Uh, let's go all the way back to Thursday. Arizona drops another road conference game, 83-80 to Oregon State. They're now 10-0 at home, Arizona, but just 5-5 away from home. This team, man, if you bet them on the road, that's got to just be a scary proposition.
they stink. They're not good. I don't trust
Mhm.
them. And I hold firm on what I said, I believe, exactly 1 week ago. They will sneak in as like a 3 seed because they'll be the Pac-12 champs somehow, some way, play an Indiana State, and they will lose in the opening round. That's how this will go.
That's an early shout out for Indiana State, I see
Yeah,
here
we got
too.
it. We got a
Yeah.
foreshadow. We got a
Yeah.
foreshadow.
All right, number 8, Auburn loses their second straight game. This one was on the road to Mississippi State, 64-58. And this kind of got me to look into Auburn a little bit more. They still have yet to get a quad one win this
Mm-hmm.
season. So, yes, they got all the way up to number 6, then number 8. But this is kind of dicey now. They're just 2-3 on the road. I'm not sure how good Auburn is. I think we might have been fooled by a little bit of a weak schedule.
Maybe, maybe. I am a little concerned with the loss. Now, we've talked about Mississippi State before. I do think they're a quality team in the SEC. However, if you're Auburn and you're supposed to be as good as we thought, maybe you were, and me, the Pearl Train, the Pearl Boat, that's what I call it. Never mind, the Pearl Boat.
Yeah.
You got to win that game. You got to win that
Yeah.
game. Alabama, sure, whatever. You got to beat Mississippi State after that. Not good. And actually, now that I think about it more, maybe I'm the fool because
Mhm.
right now, fringe 3-4 seed, from if I remember correctly, are BYU and Auburn,
Yeah,
who I
that's
have
true.
notably said I am behind right now. And quite frankly, I feel like with both of them, it's all statistics that's pushing you forward because neither of them really has like a win you can hang your hat on yet.
Yep, definitely. I completely agree with that. And yeah, speaking of BYU, they are also 1-3 on the road. So these are two teams really struggling to get road
Yeah,
victories.
which is a problem when the tournament's played exclusively on the road.
Yes. All right. Another team that we talked a lot about for like the last couple podcasts, number 11, Oklahoma continues to slide, losing 84-85 to Texas Tech. Nothing bad in that loss, Texas Tech. It's just that now this is 4 losses in their last 6 games for Oklahoma. And they have 2 more road games this week in the Big 12. So things are starting to get ugly quick for Oklahoma in
Yeah, no,
conference
they'll be
play.
out of the top 25 by the end of the week.
Yep,
It's not
definitely.
good for them. However, I think I did say the over was going to hit in this game,
Yeah, well, you
if I
nailed it.
remember correctly, and it hit
Mhm.
easy,
Yeah,
easy
easy.
over, easiest bet of probably the weekend if you took it with me.
Mhm.
So go Texas Tech. Glad that you guys can score. Maybe not great that you barely beat a bad team, but we'll take them where we can get them.
Yeah. All right, a bit of an upset here as this was a 7-point road favorite. Dayton loses to Richmond, and now Richmond is an early leader in the A10, still undefeated. Number 16 Dayton, though, this is their first bad loss, I would say, of the season. It's not even that bad a loss when you take a look at how Richmond's played in the conference, but this is kind of the first time they've really had the eyeballs on them, Dayton, in this game. So I'm still not worried about them. They do have 3 quad one wins. They haven't had a single bad loss all season. All 3 of their losses are quad ones. But this is kind of just not good for the public because this is like the first time that people have really tuned into a
Mm-hmm.
Dayton game this season.
Or you could reverse and say it's great for the public because they got to watch
Yeah,
Richmond, who is
yeah, that's
undefeated
true.
in the
That's
A10.
true. Yeah, that is true.
I want you to be honest with me. How much of this game did you watch?
Not very much of it.
Yeah,
I
because
did
it was
not
like
watch it.
trying to watch paint dry, dude.
Yeah,
That was terrible.
yeah. It was on the
S-
third TV. So.
Literally, I'm trying to remember. My wife came into the room. I watched the end of the first half, part of the second. I think there was 17 minutes and 20 seconds in the second half. The score was 26-22.
And
How?
that's what we were saying. We previewed it, saying it was going to be
I
like
mean, like we
running through the
didn't lie
mud.
about the game, but like, holy
Yeah,
smokes, dude.
yeah,
26-22.
yeah. That's
Just
just ugly.
brutal to watch. Brutal.
All right, let's move it over to our favorite conference, the Mountain West, where it just does seem almost impossible to win on the road. 79-76 loss for Colorado State. They drop out of the top 25 now. This loss was to Wyoming, not even one of the better top teams in the Mountain
Mhm.
West. But man, it's just you just bet it blindly now. Road games, just if you want the road team to win, you might as well just stay away from the game because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, we're just going to go with this now, though. We're going to spend everything that happens in the Mountain West as good because in Colorado State, we trust. I don't care. They're going to go to the tournament. They're going to win 2 games.
Okay.
And I hope everyone's keeping along all the things that I say because I sure as hell don't.
All right. Well,
they might not even make the tournament. I just said they're going to win 2 games.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
There's their locked.
That's where we're in this life.
All right. The last really big upset of the weekend was on Sunday as our Memphis team just absolutely is just in a rut right now. 3rd straight loss, this time to UAB, and it wasn't even close. They find themselves in the middle of a very average to below average American conference. And just like Colorado State, they fell out of the rankings too.
Yes. I will say we were getting ready to start the show and I was double checking the notes before doing the preview. And I literally, for a half a second, thought I saw Memphis on our picks list. And I literally looked at Kyle. I was like, oh, sorry. Because I like hesitated. I was like, I swore I just saw Memphis on our picks list and was about to be why. Like, what? They stink.
Yeah,
we don't need to preview them. However, will they make the tournament? This is a real pondering effect for us, Kyle, because at this point, they're getting a lot of bad losses. They might find themselves in a real position where they have to win their conference tournament.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at. They went from like they're a fringe top 10 team last week to they're gonna have to run the table in their conference tournament because that's just how bad it's gotten.
Yeah, and like every time you lose in this conference, it's a quad 2 or worse loss. So
no, yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I will say something really quickly though, Kyle. Something you've pointed out, and it drives me nuts now. It drives me a little bonky box.
Okay.
So you've mentioned before, like the net ranking is not supposed to be like necessarily like a true ranking of things. It's more or less like a sorting tool. The amount of major media that keep referencing the net rankings, I'm going to drive myself nuts. Stop. They need to stop. Well, Johnny Walker's 3rd in the net. I don't care. It's not that's not the point of the tool. If we're going to do that, let's just use Ken Palm to rank everybody. Like, what are we doing? Stop. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah. And if you watched any of that Duke game on Saturday, they referenced how Duke was 0-3 against net quad 2 teams. They did that probably 12 to 13 times during the game.
Also, again, I stand by what I say. We're getting off topic, but I stand by what I say with Clemson. Barely could watch the end of that game. It was a great ending. Could barely watch. The Clemson is just not watchable, even against Duke. Not a watchable team.
All right, so Memphis kind of became our podcast team there for a little bit, I would say. But I think we decided this weekend that we're going to just officially call it out. A new podcast team.
Yes, we have.
Yes. It is going to be Indiana State. For those of you who have not paid attention, they're one of the most fun teams in the nation to watch. And they're 17-3. They're very close to being ranked, if not ranked. Let's take a look real quick.
I think they're fringe. They're not quite in.
They're fringe. Yeah, okay. So they received votes this week, but they're like 6 down. So they're a top 30-ish team. But what we have here is just a team that if you live in Indiana is just perfect for Indiana basketball. It really is. And their best player is a goofy, tall white guy that plays in the middle, and he's crafty. He passes it. He pump fakes. It's just perfect for what Indiana basketball represents. So I think it's perfectly fine that we adopt this team as our podcast team this year.
And also, like, just to keep adding on to that, they're the number 1 3-point shooting team in the country. That's if that's not Indiana basketball. Literally, if you go back and you used to read our old tagline of like our podcast, like that's basically what we said. Like, we're just a bunch of white kids from Indiana that know how to shoot naturally. That's what we do in Indiana. They're the perfect team. Also, Larry Bird went there, who is the greatest greatest basketball player from the state. Hard to say high school. It might still be Damon Bailey, even though he wasn't a great NBA player. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to rep some gear for our team, but I realized they have a really big game come Saturday. So I'm going to save it for the Thursday. You're going to save it.
Okay. I was going to say, Kyle, you can't be bailing because of a big game. I'm actually shocked, by the way, for everyone that wants to join the bandwagon with us. Larry Bird, Indiana State jerseys. You can get them online for like $30.
Yeah, I know.
Since when was a jersey $30?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I get it's Indiana State. It's not like there's a lot of opportunity to wear that, but like, what?
Yeah. All right. So some other big results real quick from the weekend. We'll go through these quickly because we still have a lot to do. Wisconsin, weirdest line of the weekend.
Yes.
They were only -2.5 or -3, depending on when you bet them at home against a mediocre Michigan State team. It was like so weird that we were texting about like, hey, do we
Yes.
have to go with Michigan State here? We decided to actually go opposite. And Wisconsin
Yes.
got the win. And I think that kind of just pushes Michigan State's relevance away. Like I don't think we'll even like discuss Michigan State the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
We found ourselves in such a predicament that literally Kyle's like, well, I think I'm gonna go to Wisconsin. And I'm like, I think for the betterment of the podcast, I'll just go Michigan State then. Like it was truly, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
But
Well,
hey,
this
good
is
for Wisconsin.
yeah, definitely. And this win and then Purdue avoiding a collapse on Sunday, they got a 68-60 win at Rutgers. So this is setting up now where if we can just have Wisconsin and Purdue avoid a loss during this week, it'll have a huge game on next Sunday when there is no football. It'll be a battle for the first place in the Big Ten. So I'm really hoping they both get the win this week so that we can have that huge game on Sunday.
That might actually be the biggest game this year because all those big games, if you remember early in the season, those were off preseason rankings. We've seen a lot out of teams now. You could argue that maybe the Tennessee Purdue game, given where they are now, but those teams, I don't think either team was quite where they are now either from a maturity level. So that might be the biggest game if they can make it out. Wisconsin Purdue so far this season.
Can't wait for that one. Then another one, Iowa State got a huge conference win over Kansas. They're now, this drops Kansas to 4th in the Big 12. Iowa State's in 2nd now, but this is huge. Like this, I think they're now 12-0 at home this year, Iowa State.
Yeah, they're killing it. I love it. Honestly, Kansas isn't even like dead to me because I just don't bet them. But at this point, they're just like my enemy. I don't know why. Just one slight hand of calls it and go Iowa State. Let's go.
Yeah. We'll stay in the Big 12 here as TCU outduels number 15 Baylor 105-102 in triple overtime. If this doesn't just tell you how bad Baylor's defense is, like it is 2 years running that this Baylor defense is absolutely terrible. This marks the 3rd straight loss for Baylor. And I think they dropped all the way down to 23 in the rankings now with this.
Triple overtime too. That like how like watching a triple overtime game, that's a marathon.
Yeah.
And to add to that, Baylor was winning this game relatively comfortably with like 5 minutes to go. When I seen it was overtime, I was already shocked. And then when I seen triple overtime, because I did not watch the overtimes, more doubly shocked. But hey, Horned Frogs killed them. Baylor officially off the list. They also do some type of weird thing, don't they? Where they like sick them. Do they also do what the TCU does?
I'm not
sure. They do something else too.
Yeah.
Okay, you continue. I'll confirm.
Okay. All right. So I kind of lied earlier. It's not impossible to get a road win in the Mountain West. It's just very difficult. Utah State did get a road win though in Boise State in overtime, 90-84. They now lead the conference at 6-1, and they look really legit. Utah State.
I was gonna say, are you a believer?
I am a believer.
We've been hesitant with them for a while, I feel like, but now they're they're 18-2.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We can't say they're good now.
Why? You said we can't say they're good now.
Like there's no way for us to be like, maybe they're good.
Yes.
Like they're 18-2. They're a good team now. Also, I was right. It's Sikkim.
Okay.
Baylor does Sikkim, and I'm pretty sure TCU. So was the Battle of Sikkim. That was a miss by us.
I was going to say, why did we not know that going into that game?
I just made it up, but hey.
Yeah.
Do they say it the same way? Is that's the question? Is it Sikkim SIC? This is a rant of a
We've been all over the place in this spot.
Technically, their catchphrase is "Give them hell," but that seems fake.
Yeah.
Hold, please.
I'm just staring at the Mountain West standings right now, man. This conference is nuts.
I swore maybe they don't do Sikkim. They just do tss.
Okay.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Enough of that.
Maybe we'll have it for the next pod.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Then the last result, BYU gets a very nice and very needed win here at home over Texas, 84-72, and you were all over that one.
Yeah, I think we both were. We were like that was a must win for them. It's probably better they won very comfortably. Worse for Texas though. because they're probably going to get slaughtered as we're talking about this, and everyone will know if they did or not.
13-12 currently.
Who's winning?
Houston.
Nice. By the way, their lines, this is a half gambling show at this point. They're the weirdest thing ever. So Saturday, their line was 82.5, I think, team total. I was like, there's no way they're scoring 82 points. They had 40, I think, with 3 minutes to go in the first half. I was like, holy shit. Tonight, they're playing Texas, right? What do you think their total should have been?
I saw your post. I already know what it is.
Okay, well, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, either way, super low. Like, how is your total go from 82.5 against help me out here, who the heck they play even? It's a decent team, doesn't matter. I don't care.
Kansas State.
Thank you. Kansas State. So now you're playing Texas, and the totals, I think I put it, I'm already forgetting, 67.5.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Like, just how? That's such a massive difference. Long story short for everyone, I have 67.5 over team total.
Yeah.
Hope you rode with me. If you didn't, I hate you. And if you did, you're awesome.
All right. I would ask you about other results, but we are already long on time already.
This is how these shows go. Sometimes they're short. Sometimes we get a little long-winded. And by we, I mean me.
All right. Let's go into our top 10s.
All right.
I had my 6 through 10 all lose last week. So the top 5 remain the same. It's Purdue, UConn, UNC, Houston, Tennessee is my top 5. No changes there. But then we have a lot of shakeup here. I have all the way up at number 6. This team wasn't even in my top 10 last week. I have Wisconsin now at number 6.
Okay.
Number 7, I went with Kansas. Yeah, they lost, but they were a road team, not a favorite in the game. So I don't really hurt them or push them down too much for that. Number 8, I went with Duke over Kentucky at number 9 because Duke does now have 5 quad 1 wins, while Kentucky only has 2, and they have a worse loss than Duke. So I went with Duke over Kentucky, so Kentucky's 9. And then at number 10, I just have no idea who to put here. So I literally just sorted out who has the most quad 1 wins, and Arizona is tied for the 3rd most in all of the nation, so they get my number 10
love our theories
pick,
here.
So.
All right, fair. Okay, well, fair. I have the same exact top 5 and just randomly different orders. I got 1 UConn, 2 Purdue, 3 North Carolina, 4 Tennessee, 5 Houston. And then it turned into a hodgepodge of teams. Basically, I just shook up the whole thing. I was like, we need a new look. We need a new face here. Tired of teams losing in my top 10. Texas Tech at 6. Not a surprise there. I think I had them at 9 last week. Then I went Wisconsin, Iowa State, and then this is where I'm like, you know what? Let's just start picking teams that at least win games. 9 New Mexico, 10 Utah State, and I purely picked those because New Mexico has won the most recent head-to-head.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I think I actually just looked up, and the only 2 losses for Utah State are Bradley and New Mexico, and I honestly went into the Mountain West thinking New Mexico wasn't even that good. So they really shocked me. Yeah,
I know. We've talked about this at length. They're like a sneaky good team.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Do you have your updated records after a wild weekend?
It didn't go well for your boy, I'll tell you that now. And by not well, I mean 500. But I am 339, 319, and 4. That's 52.2%, just fringe making money. 672 bets.
Okay. That's a lot of bets.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I had a really good end of the week, and then I went again 500 for a weekend because that's all I do recently.
Yep.
But I am now 231, 180, and 0, 56.2%. So we were back over the 56% mark.
Nice.
I need a big Saturday though. I feel like it's been so long since I had a huge Saturday.
I would say you can start calling yourself the king of the 50-50 because you're right. You always kill it during the week, and then you're like, yeah, I had a mediocre week. It was 50 or weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that when you're 56% this far in the season. People would die for 56%.
Yeah. It just sucks that there's other sports that I bet on.
You want to feel good about yourself? Do you want to feel real good about yourself? Okay.
Sure.
This is not college basketball related. This just tells you how out of touch I've gotten with the NFL over the last 5 weeks. Did you see my top 10 bets for Sunday?
No, I didn't. Oh, no.
0-10.
Oh, no.
Didn't know. And you know this from old school days before we actually did a podcast together. I'm always good for a no for every once in a while. There was one specific weekend I went 0 for 14. 0 for 14 on NFL. Literally just fade me, and you went all of your
Yeah.
lucky for me, we've talked about the units thing. I knew I'm not reading the NFL well, which is the worst time to not be reading it. So I went extremely low, like not even a full unit. Like
Yeah.
maybe like a little. Some of them I think were like even less than a half unit because I'm like I'm not feeling good, but I need something.
Yeah.
0-10, 0-10.
That's so
Which
bad.
sidebar that does mean you have a pretty substantial lead on me now in our other
Yeah.
contest.
Okay. I didn't realize those are like the
Yes,
ones that
all
you
10.
use for
I was
that.
like just going straight NFL. It's almost out. 0-10. One
Oh,
of my bets
oh.
was literally Jared Goff to have 1 yard rushing. 1 yard. I looked this up. Literally, all of his games when he played at the Rams, he averaged
Mhm.
10 yards rushing in every game against the Rams. That's like 11 games,
Yeah.
not a single rush yard. I felt like such a sharp when I found that. And then I
To
loses.
watch an entire football game and he doesn't even run for a
Needed
yard.
one yard is all I needed. Couldn't get it.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the NFL kicked my ass this weekend too.
That's fair. That's why
So
we do college basketball.
exactly. All right, we have some huge games coming up this week, so we'll give either leans or picks for these big games before the weekend. Let's start on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Number 9, Marquette, 15-5 at Villanova, 11-9. And this season is slipping past Nova very quickly, and it looks like it's going to be 2 straight years without them in the tournament. They are just 6-3 at home and already have 3 quad 3 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to win this one. Do you give them any chance here, or are you going to stick a fork in them?
I don't think they can win this game. I think they kind of know they're dead. This maybe really is like the legitimate like last straw for them because if they win this game, they can at least like throw in a big win.
Mm.
However, with that being said, I do think they cover. Marquette's coming off a big week. They moved up substantially in the rankings. Vegas will probably know that. They won't give you a massive line though, because Villanova does statistically still rank well. I'm gonna say this line ends up somewhere around 6, but I'll take Nova to cover.
Well, we have a line. It's out.
Oh, geez, what's the line?
It's Marquette -2.
Oh my
Marquette
gosh, are you
minus.
serious?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll take Marquette. Jeez. 2 points? What are we
Yeah,
talking about? This is
man.
Wisconsin, Michigan State all over again.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
no, I'm not man suiting myself with this one. Take Marquette.
Yeah, I mean, I just Villanova can't score. They
No, they
cannot score.
cannot.
Marquette can score. I think you have to, even though it's a road favorite, I think you have to go with Marquette here.
Well, so that I don't look like a dumb dumb again, I'm gonna have to pull up. I don't do things until the morning, so now I'm gonna have to look up what these are. Go,
I
oh
can
my
say,
God, there's a line on here that has Villanova -1.
oh really? Holy shit.
That can't be real.
That's wild.
It's Caesars, if anyone wants to know.
Okay, I was about to
So just go get
say.
Marquette. I mean, what are
Yeah.
we talking about?
Oh man, so we're both on Marquette there to start the
Yes.
game or start the slate. Another 7 p.m. game on Tuesday night. Number 14 Illinois, who's 15-5 at Ohio State, 13-7. This line currently, I have it at Illinois -2.5, over under 150.5. And speaking of season slipping by, Ohio State was once 12-2, now 13-7, and have been blown out by Nebraska and Northwestern in the last 2 games. It's been really rocky for Illinois since they got Shannon back. They've won an ugly game against IU, lost Northwestern. Shannon's been terrible in both games.
Mm-hmm.
But Ohio State is just 1-7 in quad 1 and 2 games. Like that's bad. And I don't think they're
Yes.
bouncing back. So I'm gonna take Illinois, lay the 2.5 on the road.
Yes. 100%. This is a definite like. This is the week for last week is North Carolina need to win by like big digits in their game. That's what Illinois needs to do. There's no reason for Ohio State to be in this game whatsoever, especially when they have the worst uniforms in the Big Ten.
That's true. That's true. All right, another 7 p.m. game. Man, the 7 p.m. slate on Tuesday is loaded. Number 15,
Yes.
Texas Tech, 16-3 at number 25, TCU, 15-5. I currently have this one at TCU. Yes, TCU -5.5, over under 140.5. And I mean, there is no hotter team in the nation, Texas Tech. They've only had one loss since the start of December, and that was at Houston. TCU, though, they've already beat Oklahoma, Houston, and Baylor. That being said, 5.5 points, way too much to give up right
Yes.
now against the Texas Tech team. So this is scary, but I'm taking the 3 road teams to start this.
Yep. Taking Texas Tech. I'm also taking the over. They proved, obviously, I referenced it earlier in that game, that they can score with anyone. And TCU is a way better offense than Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Easy hit the over. Sprinkle the money line on Texas Tech as well. It's plus 185.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, let's move it to 8 p.m. We go back to this team. Number 23, Oklahoma, 15-5
Why?
at Kansas State, 14-6.
This might
Right
be the
now,
last time we
Kansas,
talk about them.
I hope so. I really do. I'm sick of watching them. Kansas State minus 2.5, over under sits at a low 137.5. And this Kansas State team's been so hard to figure out this season. They only have one quad one win all season, and they rank outside the top 70. Like, at least Oklahoma's really good at something. They're really good at defense. I'm just going to take the under in this game. I don't trust either team. I'll take the under 137.5.
I'm gonna ride with Kansas State in this one.
Okay.
I think this is the
Okay.
win they need to have. Like this is their Villanova game. They need to win this game.
All right, we're going to end Tuesday with a huge Mountain West battle. San Diego State 16-4 at Colorado State 15-5. San Diego State ranks much higher than Colorado State and KenPom. And Colorado State has already lost 2 in a row and 4 of their last 6. But they are 8-1 at home. The spread is only minus 1.5 right now, and it's just automatic for me right now. I'm taking the home team in Mountain West, so I will take Colorado State.
I'm gonna agree, and I'm pondering. How many points would that be? I'm gonna take the over also. I like the over.
Would you have it at 141 or what do you have it at?
141. 141, sir. Lock it in. It's a lot of points for San Diego State, but I think if Colorado State's going to win that game, they're going to have to play their pace, and it's going to be a lot of threes, a lot up and down shooting. Going to need it.
All right, we'll move to Wednesday, where the slate's not great, but I did find one game, 7 p.m. Number 18, Baylor, who's 14-5 at UCF, who is 12-7. Tricky matchup here because Baylor already is on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah.
So normally this would be like an unlucky spot to fall into, right before a big weekend. But UCF has beat Kansas and Texas already. Do you give them another shot to get a big win, or are you going to go with Baylor to bounce back?
I'm going to go with the over. We obviously know
Okay.
Baylor doesn't play defense. Why not? UCF is one of those sneaky teams, though. Like, they're like a team that's going to probably end up like 500 in the conference, but have some weird wins like you referenced there.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with the over. I'm curious to see what comes out with the spread. Might take UCF plus the points if they get them, but I don't know with Baylor's loss that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so right now, KenPom has this as a 3-point game, 72-69 Baylor. So it's going to be an interesting spread. I think you're going to end up getting about 4 or 5 points with UCF. And I'm going to lean that way just because they are an elite defense. They're top 8 in defensive efficiency. And you're playing at home, and Baylor's reeling right now. So I'll go ahead and take this home team plus the points. If you got to get points, though. I wouldn't be going money line with them right now. All right, last game on the slate, Thursday. Well, we already briefly talked about this one, but 8:30 p.m. Number 6, Wisconsin, who is 16-4 at Nebraska, 15-6. Huge battle here. What we'll give? We got Wisconsin leading the Big Ten. They've won 9 out of their last 10 games. On Nebraska, like we said on last podcast, is basically an auto bet at home since they're 13-1 at home this season. And KenPom, early prediction of the game has this being 76-74 Wisconsin. So obviously we're going to have a very small line. I'm rooting for Wisconsin because I want Sunday to be awesome. So I'll take them, but I don't feel great about it.
Okay. As we said, we've made Nebraska almost an auto bet, but this is the nerve-wracking one. For the sake of what you just said for Sunday, I'm going to take the under. So I do think that Nebraska's shooting is going to elevate this number, but Wisconsin knows that's the only thing that's going to keep Nebraska in the game. So they're going to use their efficiency on offense to try to just wear them down and win an ugly game, like 61-49. Ugly.
Wow, that would be so ugly. That would be definitely Wisconsin's. All right, that's all we have for like the picks for the slate. But I did want to just tease what we're going to have on the next podcast, because if you haven't looked at the schedule for Saturday and Sunday, it is absolutely glorious. We have Saturday. All of these games are on Saturday. We have UConn at Madison Square Garden to take on St. John's. We have Texas at TCU, Utah State at San Diego State, Houston at Kansas, Duke at North Carolina. Obviously, this huge one, Drake at Indiana State, Iowa State at Baylor, Tennessee at Kentucky, St. Mary's at Gonzaga, and it all concludes on Sunday with Purdue at Wisconsin. Like, if that tease doesn't get you back for the podcast later this week, I don't know what will, because this is the best slate we'll have. I can't imagine a better weekend of games than this.
Just water emoji, water emoji, water emoji. Just come on.
Yeah. All right. Did you have any other picks that you have seen for the rest of the week, or are you just
No,
gonna
I think
put them out on Twitter?
we're gonna hold serve for
Okay.
now, since you're a
Okay.
big tennis guy.
Yes.
Guys, you have to visit the tweeter, get all
Yeah.
the picks.
All right. That's at Kyle Cliffy for me, at Mingo Made One for Jordan. We'll talk to you later in the week, previewing and giving you all the picks for the big weekend. Best of luck this week in your bets, and we'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys.